Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, what's up, guys? I just want to make sure that you can hear me, you can see me, you can see slides. It is all going good here. I haven't actually done a webinar for a while, live training for a while with video, audio, slides, the whole nine yards. But I was presenting this stuff at War Room, and I ended up having to create slides, or ended up deciding to create some slides. And then I was just like, instead of just presenting this to 100 or so people, let's present it a little bit larger. And so here we are talking about the ROI method today. But I want to make sure you can hear me, see me. I'm just going to bring up the questions real quick. Make sure that I can see that during. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Guys, I'd love to know who's here. If you just want to type in the comments real quick. We got about 800 people or so signed up. So I would expect probably maybe 300, 400 people will be here live today. So I want to make sure it's engaging as possible, being able to kind of go back and forth as we go along. And I would love to know a couple things, where you're tuning in from, and then secondarily, what it is you do in your business. And number three, I know a lot, what you would love to be able to get out of today. Yeah, I think this is probably the most excited I've been for a training. I get more and more excited every single time I do these, because ideas formulate differently when you present them. And if you're an entrepreneur, you get this, is the fact that you have an idea, you put it out there, you get some engagement, you get some feedback, and you continually evolve that over and over and over and over again. And so I've been able to spend quite a bit of time. Earlier this year I was nomadic, and we'll get into that in a second. And for the last almost now 3 months, I've been living here in Venice, and been having an amazing time being able to get feedback, being able to have time in person with people with the ROI method, helping so many people implement the ROI method. And if you're here today and you're wanting to be able to scale the business up, I don't think there's any better way than the ROI method. It really takes a lot of the concepts behind business, behind marketing, and really simplifies them. We got Gemma from the UK, from Holland, living in Barcelona. What's up, Mark? What's up, Gemma? Nicholas from Pathlock. What is happening? Jen from Oregon here. I'm a business coach and branding expert looking to grow my client base. We have Rico in North Carolina, digital strategist, learn how to get better return on investment in marketing. We got a travel agent working on my lead generation. Gerard is MD, entrepreneur consultant. Hey, Gerard, Washington. Trisha Paul from Missouri, at the moment developing an AI platform to help new entrepreneurs grow a business, which they're planning to use to revolutionize the education industry through the development of eventual university. Hope to learn how to get word out about our beta. Paul, that is really cool, brother. I really love that. South Africa for financial services, wanting to grow the business exponentially. We have, good morning, Chris from the Gold Coast, Australia. What is happening, Chris? We have Emmanuel, which is looking to ramp up. And will your ROI method help someone in e-commerce dropshipping print on demand? It can. We don't specifically work with e-commerce businesses, so I can't actually help you with it. But it is very applicable to it, and those people that have done it have a lot of success. Chris Settle, I'm a health and happiness coach, helping overwhelmed entrepreneurs reinvent themselves and interrupt burnout so they can have the lives they were meant to have. I love that, Chris. I mean, that is, at the end of the day, you get into this entrepreneur thing, and it is just so difficult sometimes. So I completely get it. I know I hustled for a long time. So overall, if you're here, a couple things that I probably know about you. Number one, you're an entrepreneur. Number two, you're trying to be able to scale the business, being able to scale it up, and you're wanting to be able to utilize proper lead generation sales. You're wanting to perhaps, in our business, we specialize in people that sell high ticket. We specialize in people that want to increase their show up rates, that want to be able to increase the rates of being able to close sales. We help people not have to use manipulation in their sales tactics, and rather use illumination. That people that want to use the long game and short instead of the short game, and really truly want to build a business that goes beyond just the business. So it's not just about money, but it's about the impact of what you're doing. And then secondarily, being able to build an audience, being able to build relationships. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about today is the nuclear effect, which is the name actually of my new book that's going to be coming out fairly soon. So I'm really excited about being able to help you, have a life that really resonates with you, have a business that really resonates with you, and then, have a life that really you feel it has impact. Because one of the things that I find, having multiple multi-million dollar businesses, and this business going past 8 figures this year, money only gets you so far. And one of the things that I know more than likely about you is that you want the abundance in your life. You want the abundance in what you do so that you can kind of show up the most authentic way possible, and that you don't have to be hustling all the time. You don't have to be on the 6-figure hamster wheel. As I talked about a year ago. I published about a year and a half ago, I published this video. It ended up having 100,000 plus views, ended up getting featured in Business Insider, about this idea of the 6-figure hamster wheel, and the fact that you are constantly on this 6-figure hamster wheel over and over and over and over again, and it feels like you can never get above water. You check your bank account every single day, and you're just like, I'm doing all this work. Is it even worth it? Does it make sense to just go back and just do one-on-one work? Or you may be on the opposite side doing one-on-one work and say, well, you know what? There's no way I can leverage my time. I just simply don't know how to be able to make this business make sense. And so hopefully I can, shed some light upon that. And so I think that this is perfect for you from an ROI method side, and what I'll be talking about specifically today. This works in any business, but what I'm going to be really specializing in on today is if you have a high ticket offer, or you want to actually utilize a high ticket offer, which is something that is sold on the phone. So I'm not necessarily saying that 2,000 is different than 20,000 in terms of quote unquote high ticket. But what I do find is that the transformation that happens for someone typically happens because of intimacy. And that's why we sell things that are higher ticket, because it actually provides a transformation instead of just information. Now, this was really interesting, because the ROI method, happened by mistake. Like a lot of things in my life, it happened by mistake. I don't know about you, but if you look back and try to connect the dots, you're just like, whoa, what actually happened here? And, I blew up a business. It really kind of happened in the mountains of Malibu. I was in I had an Audi R8 rented for about 6 weeks, which was my dream car. And I just went nomadic. I was about a month and a half into being, 2 months into being nomadic. And so back in 2017, I blew up a business, completely kind of nuked it. I was doing $300,000-$400,000 a month, but my problem was, it was just like, I'm not connected to this. I don't want to sell information. I don't want to just sell passwords on the internet. I want to actually have an effective way of being able to transform someone's life. And it's all these entrepreneurs that I was, impacting in a way, but it really truly wasn't what I would say the most impactful usage of my resources and time. Now, I think a lot of the time entrepreneurs either pivot, blow their business up, or sell it, because entrepreneurs in and of itself, and you may feel this too, we want to be onto something. It's our job to be able to be onto something consistently. And the problem is when we don't feel like we're onto something, it just kind of ends up being not pleasurable anymore. We don't really want to do it anymore. And even though we may have something that is great, it's very difficult to make an impact with it. Now, since then, I figured out ways to be able to ensure that your impact is disconnected from necessarily you feeling being onto something. But at the time, this is what happened, which was kind of a crazy paradox, simply because of the fact that 3 years earlier at the time, I was, $1 million in debt. I just was everything was just completely disassociated in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. Things were not going good. And then I found myself, with a business that was a multi-million dollar business, actually 2 multi-million dollar businesses at the exact same time. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care about the money, which is why I believe that it's so important to be connected to what you do. It's so connected to have a business that's sustainable and successful and isn't a 6 or 7 figure hamster wheel. Because, I guarantee you that in that place of having everything that the world wants you to have, and you being like, whoa, I don't want this, it's a very confusing time, very confusing time. And so it's a very interesting moment to be here and have, after I went nomadic, 3 weeks later, I ended up meeting the love of my life, ended up getting married just about a month ago, and here in Venice, and now have a team of 29 people, have a CEO that runs my company, and I get to do things like this that are creative and fun and strategic and just really at the highest capacity of my zone of genius. And of course, I want the same for you. But going back to this, I ended up publishing this article on Entrepreneur, on my column on Entrepreneur, and it was talking about how we could technically become the Coca-Cola of our industry. So we could dominate inside of our industry if we created essentially a sub niche inside of our industry. So what I was essentially saying, and what the ROI method is, and we're going to go into it really deeply today, but what I essentially said is, if we were able to create a relevant group of people, we could dominate that small group of people and make it so that we become the Coca-Cola. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Coca-Cola brand. I don't drink Coca-Cola. However, they own some of the biggest brands when it comes to water and these more healthier types. But overall, this strategy and this article picked up a lot of steam. It's one of my most shared, most viewed articles on Entrepreneur. You can go ahead and search Scott Oldford plus Coca-Cola plus Entrepreneur, and it should come up in Google. And so then, just 3 or 4 months earlier, I was starting to really talk about, as I said before, about this hustle hamster wheel, about being able to get off the 6-7 figure hamster wheel. And of course, this was covered in Entrepreneur, this was covered in Business Insider. And then I also started talking about how to be able to get how to get people off the 6 and 7 figure hamster wheel using what I call the 6 pillars of business, 6 pillars of a 7-figure business. Now, the ROI method was really, really fascinating because I was able to grow my past business from literally zero in May 2015, was that negative almost $1 million. From there to being able to go completely debt free, and now in 2018 being able to do over $10 million in revenue. But what was more interesting than this, people always ask me, Scott, did you ever go to university? Did you ever go to college? I actually ended up growing up on a farm. Had my first business at 7. By the time I was 16, I was doing really, 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 really well online. I was a little bit of a fat kid, nerd kid. Didn't really have any friends because I wasn't really in the proximity of it. But by the time I was 19, things were starting to really, really go, really, really, really well. And then within 2 years, it all just blew up because of my ego, because of the fact that I didn't love myself, because of the fact that money got to my head, not because I went and blew it in Vegas, but simply because of the fact that I invested in too many things at once. I think that's one of the things we do as entrepreneurs. We get lack of focus. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you today with the ROI method is really a combination of seeing what I did in my business, seeing what I did in being able to take a relevant group of people, being able to be the big fish in that small group of people, being able to utilize omnipresence in allowing yourself to be in front of those people every single day, unleashing the mere exposure effect, and then being able to utilize intimacy to close sales, but in a way that actually doesn't feel like selling at all. It's not salesy selling. It's more along the lines of order taking than it is of being able to do anything else. And this, of course, brought me to the point of being able to meet the love of my life, Libby, marrying her just very, very, very recently. And also, I should say, finding my my business, Libby, quote unquote, which is Zion, which is the CEO of my business now. And we have, I think, 29 or 31 team members on our team that is helping utilize and helping other entrepreneurs implement the ROI method. And so this really came about in the last 6 months. It literally just started with 3 very, very, very simple circles, and now has turned into a life of its own. And in a very small amount of time has generated hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue for entrepreneurs that we're working with. It is by far the best way to be able to attract attention, to be able to hack the attention of your potential perfect customer, and allowing them to come towards you and allowing you to pull them towards you, being able to show the right thing at the perfect time, but while at the same time making it so that you don't have to spend so much money on advertising. Fun fact, I was actually looking at this. This wasn't part of this presentation whatsoever, but up to this point, we're generating far over $500,000 a month in revenue right now. And so far this year, we've only spent I looked at it just before this, $249,000 in ad spend on Facebook. Now we do YouTube, Google Display Network, all these other things, which are also some advertising dollars. But on Facebook alone, we are generating ridiculous return on investment. 12-month contracts that are worth 5 and 6 figures. And we're doing that with less than $250,000 in actual ad spend. And that is based upon the fact that we're able to take a relevant group of people, be able to continually go back to them with different angles, 13 different psychological trigger points. We're able to actually star information that we know can hack the attention of somebody. And most people, based upon one sales presentation, one sales page, one phone call, See, what this actually allows you to do, especially if you're selling high ticket, it allows you to be able to take that person that has no idea who you are, a complete stranger, and bring them towards being able to know who you are, knowing your values, your beliefs, your personal story, knowing their pain problem, being able to allow them to know your process, your methodology, ensuring that they understand that you're the authority in your niche, that you bring immense value, that you bring immense results, and then being able to get them on a phone call where it's no longer about you going through the process, you showing what your worth is to them on the phone. It's literally like taking an order. It's like being able to literally hack your entire industry, take a very small subgroup of those people that are going to resonate with you, that are going to pay you what you're worth and going to be able to feel connected to you, and ensuring that you are essentially a celebrity to them. And you may or may not have had that experience with just me with being on this webinar. Now, at the end of the day, I don't know your customer journey being up to this point. You may be in our Facebook group. You may have came across this on YouTube. You may have came across this from a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or an email or wherever it may be. But overall, what I preach and what I believe in is being able to take a small group of people, hacking their attention every single day for 3 to 30 seconds at a time, and being able to bring them closer and closer towards you, and then being able to utilize intimacy to close the sale, to close the moment of you saying, yes, I can help you. Here's the opportunity. Here's how we can do it. So if you want to get into this, we're going to go through the ROI method, every single piece. We're going to go through avatar positioning, messaging, being able to see what content stacks actually work, what to do in the first 14 days versus after that, being able to go into what platforms and how to necessarily use them, and showing you just how powerful this methodology is for being able to implement and deploy it inside of your business. And the people that do this, the people that implement this, they see significant results when it comes to driving applications on the phone, but not just applications on the phone, being able to create an audience that sees them as a celebrity, sees them as the expert that they are. And I should say, number one, if you're here and you are not good at what you do, you should probably get off this. I only work with amplifiers and masters, meaning if you're not a master of your craft, this is not for you. If you're someone that's regurgitating information on the internet, this is not for you. If you don't wake up and you're not an amplifier and you want to amplify a message that actually creates transformation and a higher level of consciousness as society, then this is definitely not for you. And it's also not for you if you're not a firewalker, if you're not someone that's going to do what it takes to be able to get where you actually want to be. Because I guarantee you, I did not get to the point of being able to have an 8-figure business. I did not get to a point of being able to work with some of the most amazing people in the world, having some of those amazing people as my friends that are 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, having 2 different billionaire mentors without being able to put in the work, without being able to actually utilize my brain, what's in between my ears, and being able to say, you know what, I believe in this. I believe in this, and this message, this value needs to be distributed to more than just 10 people that I work with, more than just the 500 people on my Facebook. But by God, I want this out there in the world, because if it's not, the world will not be the place that it should be. So can I get a heck yes for that, so that we can get into it? And I recommend, highly recommend, you take some notes, assuming that this is actually recorded. I don't know, I can't see it right now, but assuming this is recorded, we may have a replay. But I guarantee you, whatever you write down in this, you know, almost every successful person I've ever met, they come to the meeting. I'm less successful than them, but when I go to the meeting, they come with this, and they're writing notes, and they're reviewing their notes, and they're reviewing their decisions. And if you don't review your decisions, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems most people take, or biggest problems people make in business, is that they make their decisions based on however they're feeling in that exact moment. Your decisions should be written down, and your information should be written down, so you can be going back to that, so you can be making decisions on the long term. Because I don't know about you, but for me, I'm making my decisions for the next 20 years of my life. I'm 27 right now, and I've had an extraordinary, interesting life that is different than most. And of course, you have an interesting, extraordinary life as well. But I guarantee you, you should be utilizing at least 1 notebook per month of being able to take everything in, so that you can mediate the attention and make the decisions you need to be able to make. So with that said, I'm just going to make sure that we're still good here. I'm not just talking to Abyss. I will say Amanda and Christiana on my team are here to answer any questions, so on and so forth, as we're going through. We might get to some Q&A. I will say I have a meeting at 12:30 PST, so I literally can't go past about 70 minutes from now. So whatever we get into in the next 40 to 60 minutes is going to be container in which we're in here today. I don't know about you guys, but I get pumped up for this stuff. All right. I see Tanya so exhausted from hustling. I want to make the quantum leap. I guarantee you the quantum leap is possible. I'll give you an example. In 2015, we did $500,000. In 2016, we did $3 million. In 2017, we would have hit 10 million, but I ended up blowing up the company. And so I started it all again. And, I'm sitting here today with nearly $500,000 monthly recurring revenue. We started that in January. We built that business in less than 7 months, which is absolutely fascinating. I love it so much. All right, guys. Whoo! I'm just beyond excited. I love the fact we got hundreds of people here. I love you guys. Love entrepreneurs that are making it happen. So, guys, here's the dealio. This stuff is just, I mean, every time I talk about it, I just get more and more excited because every single time someone implements it, it just blows up. What I'm talking to you about, 51 entrepreneurs that are making over 7 figures a year are currently implementing this, and they're taking advisement and mentorship from us. We have hundreds of people that are in the 6-figure range that we're working with implementing this, and then literally tens of thousands that consume our content every single day that are implementing these different concepts in different specific ways. And I literally see people on Facebook ads say, Scott, you've doubled, tripled my business just on the content that you've shared online. I haven't paid you any money. And of course, we don't sell any information product. Our lowest end program is a 5-figure investment. And our highest end program is a multi-6-figure investment. And so we work with people at that level because we're able to have significant change in the way that we actually work with them in. So today, there's literally nothing that I'm keeping away or putting in the vault or whatever it may be. The only constraint that I have today is the ability to the fact that I could spend 8 hours going deep into this and only have 60 minutes. So overall, we're going to go through relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy, ROI. Now, overall, as I've said, again, I can't explain this enough. We are taking a small group. Let's say you have 2 million people that you may be relevant to. We are taking a small group of those people. Could be 1,000, could be 2,000, could be 10,000. We're taking a specific group, and our job is to make it so that you are so relevant to those people, that you have your offer, that your positioning, your messaging, your methodology, your avatar so far into those group of people that you are the only person that they think about when it comes to the thing that you specifically do. And see, that is inherently what relevancy is. It is having the right offer, having the right specific dialed in avatar, being able to have the right positioning to those people so that they look up to you, that they know your unfair advantage, that they know your methodology, your unique process. And then, of course, from there, being able to have the right messaging at the right time. So we're going to go into these so that we can get these dialed in for you. Now, again, I highly recommend that you're writing this down right now and being able to go through every single one of these, because if you write down what relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy means to you, you're literally going to have an action plan, self-prescribed from yourself, being able to go through this content. I guarantee you bring that back to your team, or you bring that back to yourself and being able to implement it, you're going to have significant results being able to take complete strangers and turning them into customers. But more than that, being able to take complete strangers and fundamentally changing their life in whatever it is that you do. You may be a therapist, you may be a coach, you may be a consultant, you may be a business advisor, whatever it is, you have something that is so important for someone else to be able to actually have. I mean, every single day, I help people become multimillionaires. And I think that is just super, super cool. Not because of the money, not because of cars or a cool house or whatever it may be, simply because of the fact that the more entrepreneurs that I bring into abundance, the more people are going to realize that money is not what it's about. It's being able to actually truly understand what your why is so you can go out and do it. Because I guarantee you, the day that you don't care about money, the day that I didn't care about what I had to do and I could do what I wanted to do, everything fundamentally changed. Now, it took me a while to figure out how to actually deal with that, being able to wake up in the morning and being like, I can do whatever I want. That's really weird. That's the human brain has been rewired by society not to do that. but I want to rewire it for as many people as possible, people like you, so that you can do that, because I know what happens when that happens, and it's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about one of the very first parts, which is the avatar. Now, I guarantee you've heard about avatar before, client avatar, and so on and so forth. Here's a simple piece, okay? You cannot be relevant to more than two types of people at any given time. And the more your avatar is dialed in, the easier it is to be relevant. Relevancy is the moment for someone to think, oh, that is Scott, or oh, that is Bill, or oh, that is Cindy, okay? It is a moment for that person to be like, that person worked with those people. Now, I help people create multi-million-dollar businesses. And specifically, I help people that sell high-end or high-ticket services be able to do that. And I've been very successful in being able to do that. I've had over 100 people surpass 7 figures or multi-7 figures in those businesses in my time of doing this, okay? So my avatar are people that sell high ticket, that for the most part are between 26 to 45 years old. Now, of course, lots of ages of people actually specifically work with me, but specific relevant, I'm 27, there's a specific group of people that are gonna listen to a bald guy on a beach versus say somebody that's 60 years old that's saying the exact same thing as me, but they resonate with that person. Remember, relevancy comes back to who you are. If you are, you have to be magnetizing. And the only way to be magnetizing, which we'll get to in a minute, is your unfair advantage. But when it comes to your avatar, you have to understand that if you're using your personal brand or you have a brand already, you really, truly, truly, truly need to be in a place of being able to know that you naturally generate interest with a certain group of people. I'm getting warm, so I'm just gonna open my door real quick because I need the air conditioning that's a certain way. Just give me a sec. So that's the avatar. People get super, super deep into this exercise. And my best advice when it comes to avatar is to keep it simple, but know and understand that your avatar isn't just based upon who. I think we have, yeah, there we go. I think we got something that wasn't muted here. All right, there we go. So overall, we want to make sure the avatar is related to relevancy, and we want to make sure that the person that you're targeting inside of that perfect group of people is the perfect person that you want to be connected to, that you want to be relevant to, and that you can actually be positioned to, okay? Now, here's the biggest problem. Most people try to go after the avatar that is the best avatar. If you can't put positioning in, if you don't have a brand story, if you don't have the credentials, if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the unfair advantage to be able to go to a group of people and be relevant to them, well, guess what? You're not going to be relevant to them. Number one reason why people cannot be relevant to someone is because they do not have the right positioning. Now, that happens for one of two reasons. Either they haven't positioned themselves properly, and we'll get into that in a second, or simply the fact you need to go and perhaps get more experience, perhaps get more skill, perhaps get more whatever it may be. Because your positioning, if not authentic to you, will not be relevant because someone will see past it. The subconscious mind is very good, okay? Your customer's subconscious mind is incredible at being able to see if your positioning, your avatar, your messaging, and your offer is coherent. And if it is not, if it is a piece missing, then everything is going to be difficult. You're not going to get the moment of that person saying this is relevant. Now, how do you become relevant in this spectrum of positioning? If you go and you type in unfair advantage plus entrepreneur plus Scott Oldford into Google, you'll get this amazing article that I wrote on Entrepreneur about the 6 specific parts of your unfair advantage. Now, this specific unfair, and I think there's actually a YouTube video where I go through it too, but overall, your unfair advantage is a combination of things like your talent, your skill, your experiences, your personality, these different types of things, combined with your specific methodology. So the ROI method is my specific methodology, and then of course I know my unfair advantage. Every single person, if you're here right now, you have a methodology to be able to take someone from where they're to where they want to be when it comes to the specific thing that you're actually good with. Most people do a terrible job at being able to actually fill that gap with a specific methodology that you've been able to extract. You literally cannot be a human being without having a process in which you apply. Now, most people say, well, I don't have a process. What you're really saying is you haven't taken the time to be able to draw on a wall, being able to extract the information to say, oh, you know what? This is how I am able to take someone from here to there. Well, that process, that mechanism, that is what allows you to be positioned as an expert, positioned as an influencer, positioned as somebody that can help someone get from where they are to where they want to be when combined with the unfair advantage that you bring. And when you very much write this out on paper, when you write this out and publish it, what ends up happening is people automatically that are already in the stage of understanding that there's a pain and problem look to your process and say, that makes sense. Because guess what? It's logical. Right? It's logical. And as you'll get into in a minute, you have to present logic before emotion when it comes to attracting new leads. If you try to present your brand story or your personal story before the facts, before the logical brain can get past the, oh, this is a scam, or, oh, this won't work for me, we have to make someone believe that they can go from here to there. We have to make them believe that there is the magical elixir, because you hold that in your hand with whatever it is that you're really great at. And then if we do an effective job of being able to have messaging that's around the three types of people that are coming across you. The people that are the sidewalkers that don't necessarily know the pain and problem, the slow laners, the people that look and are looking for the process and methodology, and then the fast laners, the people that are actually looking for the solution, that want to take action. If we're able to then mix that messaging in the marketplace so that we can capture 100% of the potential leads instead of just the 3% or that are really willing to buy right now, what we're able to do is create a waterfall effect of new people coming into your world that see you as being relevant and seeing that you help them specifically, that you have a methodology that actually helps them, that you're positioned to help them, that they can say, I work with this person because they help me do X. That is the moment that we are trying to create. And then when aligned with the proper offer. Now, here's one of the biggest problems I see inside of relevancy. I see a lot of influencers, see a lot of people that have gotten relevancy in terms of, all right, here's my avatar, here's who I serve, here's my positioning, but their offer does not resonate, okay? So if I went to people, and most of the people, a lot of people I work with are already millionaires, or a lot of people that I work with are already at the seven-figure level or almost seven-figure level. If I presented them an offer that was $997, they would not buy it. I'm sorry, you're just not going to buy that offer. I do not buy things that are cheap. I do not buy things in my own world. I buy the best, and I buy what is actually going to make sense. And I know a $997 info product's probably not going to be able to actually do it for me. Okay, so my position, I can have my avatar locked down. I can have my positioning locked down, my unfair advantage, my methodology. I can have my messaging locked down. But if my offer does not resonate with the market on a sophistication level, with how much money they actually want to spend, and then also does not have a coherency in between how it's going to be able to help someone get through their gap. I see people build these massive value ladders. Well, okay, well, you buy the $7 and then the 97, the 997, and then the $10,000. Well, you know what? For me, my belief, if you want to build a seven-figure or multi-seven-figure business fast, you only need one, maybe two offers to be able to get there. And most people try to create this massive value ladder, creating a super complicated business model that makes absolutely no sense. And then they're trying to serve all these different people inside of it. Serve the avatar that makes sense. So that's ROI. That is how you become relevant. Right avatar that's very specific, right messaging that is very specific, the right positioning that has your methodology and that has your unfair advantage published so that people can understand who you're actually doing business with, and then an offer that actually makes sense. One of the biggest things I've realized is what makes someone relevant to a specific group of people is the authentic self of who they are. And we're going to get to that in a minute when we come back to intimacy. But if you do not have relevancy overall in the spectrum of what we're going to be talking about, people will not look up to you. People will not see that you can actually help them. People will not take you seriously. People will not get on your sales calls, on your webinars. They will not engage with you. They will not do anything because you have to become the authority. You have to be looked up to in order for someone to take action, because if not, somebody else is going to do this and somebody else is going to come and eat your lunch. And that's quite literally how it is. Relevancy is about being the best in the small group of people, the small pond, so that people see you as the big fish. That is simple as that. that is the piece of how to be the Coca-Cola of your industry. I just want to make sure before we go on, I'm going to share with you the relevancy funnel, which is the simple way to implement this in an actual day-to-day way. So I'm going theory and then actuality, okay? Because I know I can come here, talk about a lot of theory. You go away, you're like, what the heck just happened? I want to be able to allow you to have some actual pieces. So make sure, I just want to make sure, have you written this down? Are you writing down what this looks like for yourself? Give me a heck yes, hell yes in the actual comments. Any questions? I would love to know, just to make sure as we're circling back around here that you're as clear as I am when it comes to what this looks like and how to actually become relevant inside of the business. All right. Cool. All right. Woo! You guys enjoying this so far? Give me a 10 out of 10 in the comments if you're enjoying this so far. I gotta get up a little bit to shake around. This is incredible stuff here. All right. I need to get one of these standing desks. Whew. All righty, let's get back in. What's up, Adam Hansen? What's going on, brother? You're the OG in the house. Adam, man, me and Adam met each other like five years ago in New York City, maybe. It's been a while, man. Hope everything is going spectacular. Angela Evans, what is happening? Angelina, sorry. All right, guys. All right. So the relevancy funnel. Listen, guys, I know for a fact that when it comes to funnels and everything else, they get super complicated. I was actually responsible for probably one of the most complicated funnel structures ever, okay? When we had LeadCraft as a product, anyone that implemented it crushed it, but what I saw is most people couldn't implement it because they couldn't actually get it done, okay? Whether they didn't have a team or they had the mindset issue. A lot of people have a mindset issue around building a funnel. Mostly because of the fact that most people don't want to actually grow their business, because most people are too afraid to grow their business because they don't actually like what they're doing. So they're afraid about all the pressure that's going to happen and all the time they're not going to have. So they actually put off doing the things that they need to do to grow their business because they don't actually want to grow their business because they're afraid of freedom, or they're afraid of the fact that their wife or significant other, their husband or whatever it may be, is going to be like, oh my God, you have no more time. You had less time before, now you have no more. Okay. So I said, you know what? Let's bring it back to the basics. Let's bring it back to the simple pieces. The relevancy funnel is a simple way to be able to catch. I need to put my glasses on. I can't even see what's on the monitor here, but it's a simple way to get your attention of your audience at the method and process awareness. So remember, this does not work if you do not have a methodology. Okay. If you cannot figure out a methodology for yourself, it probably means you're not actually good at what you do, because you can't actually externalize what you help somebody with, which probably means that you're really just coughing up regurgitated information you read online and through YouTube videos. No offense, but I just see it every single day. I'm pissed off with it. It's one of our company values. If you're not a master, you do not get in my program. If you are not great at what you do not get in my program. We process refunds. We turn more people away on a daily basis than we will ever bring into our programs, because of the fact that we want to be able to work with people that are the masters of the craft and aren't just regurgitating BS on the internet. So with that said, here is really what we're trying to get people to do. We want to get traffic. We want to go online. We want to get traffic. We want to be able to bring that down to an actual lead magnet. Okay. And I'll talk about that in a second. And then we want to be able to get their attention. And that's it. One lead magnet, one landing page, no crazy funnel. We are literally just targeting people at the process orientation. Now, here's how we do it. We do an ROI mini site. So what we've done, we actually have recently eliminated all of our lead magnets and we've replaced them with mini pages. Amanda or Christiana, if you want to put the resources the ROImethod.com up, this is a perfect example of what it is. So what we found is that by utilizing a mini site, we can better retarget people based upon their engagement on the page. And our cost for being able to actually drive a phone call goes down significantly when we just put all the information out there. Further, we can actually engage and know if people are going back to the pages multiple times, so we know their levels of interest. So the way and how everything works in our business and the people that we're working with is we have this mini site that's based upon our process and methodology, which promises to be able to help people generate more leads and highly qualified leads and book more sales phone calls when it comes to their high ticket offers. We then bring them into our omnipresence world, which we'll talk about in a second. This is just the relevancy. We send them emails, we retarget them. There is no other funnel. There's no real webinar. There's no real anything else that's inside of our funnel. And then we drive everything back to the application page, which then goes to a 15-minute deciding call to see if they're a good values fit, and then a 60-minute phone call to make sure that they're going to have a 100% success rate. And then they become a member of one of our programs for people that are scaling 7-figure businesses and multi-7-figure businesses. Now, this might look like, and this one is one of our past ones, this may look like our 7-figure blueprint, where I have 27 pages of how to scale a 7-figure plus business. Or it might look like the one of the ROI mini site. Now, the idea behind this is instead of having all these different lead magnets, a challenge, a guide, a webinar, all these different types of things, we simplify it. We make it super simple. Most people know they're in a marketing funnel, so the worst thing that we can actually do is to be able to make it super complicated. All these triggers, all these follow-ups, all these different types of things. What I see most entrepreneurs do at the 7-figure level that stop them from being able to get to the 7-figure level is they simply look at all these different cool things, the bots, the triggers, all these different types of things. They go and set up all this time on it, but they don't actually have enough people that they're having relationships with, that they're actually having conversations with. If you want to get all the fancy technology once you've built an 8-figure business so you can automate everything, that's great. But if you want to scale a business from 6 to 7 or 7 to multi-7, it comes from being simple, and it comes from having intimacy with those people to be able to actually solve their problems. Because people don't want more automation, they want more connectedness. Connection is a human need, not a human want. Intimacy is a human need, not a human want. And because of this, this intimacy is required and is absent in the marketplace right now. If you increase intimacy, you will increase income. Automatic, always guaranteed. So that is the relevancy funnel. It is super simple. It's over on the ROI Method website. If you just go to theroimethod.com, and it of course goes through this in a little bit more structure. Now, anyone that goes there, I just want to let you know that there is stuff here today that is not on that website, that is brand new, that I've never shown outside of this actual presentation, outside of the clients and customers and members of our programs and products. So I just wanted to make sure, just so that the smart entrepreneur that's here that thinks they're going to have a shortcut on this is actually going to be able to do it. I guarantee you there's about 50% missing on that actual website that hasn't been put online yet. So that is relevancy, and that is the relevancy funnel. The next piece is omnipresence. This is the sexy piece, okay? Omnipresence is brilliant, okay? Today, we're going to go through the OmniView stack, okay? The OmniView stack. And so omnipresence really comes down to what platforms you are, what content you're using, the frequency, and the timing. If you use omnipresence wrong, you're going to end up like Tai Lopez being a mosquito in the entire marketplace, and nobody understands your relevancy. And it's not the fact that I have anything against Tai Lopez. He just, in my opinion, spent a lot more money on advertising than he actually needed to. And because of that, he's right now not that relevant. He's more like a mosquito. He's everywhere and annoying. And that's not my intention for you, is you to utilize our omnipresent stuff to be able to be everywhere and annoying. Now, here's another piece. If you utilize omnipresence and your content sucks, if you're not good at what you do, you're going to look like a complete doofus. You're going to look stupid because your content's not good. And this doesn't mean that you had to be great on video. This doesn't mean that you need to have fancy graphics and everything else. It just means that you need to actually provide value, and you need to be actually good at what you do. Because if you're not good at what you do, this is just going to amplify the fact that you're not good at what you do. And nobody, that's not good for anybody. That's not good for you. That's not good for your customer. It's definitely not good for me, the fact that you're utilizing our strategy for something that's not going to work that well. Now, omnipresence in of itself, I grew up in a very religious culture. It used to be Christianity, Pentecostal. Not sure if you may know that or understand that. I'm not necessarily associated that now, but back then, the word omnipresence, which was quote unquote God, all-knowing, all everywhere, came to me, and or was taught to me. And it came to me back of this when it came from wanting to be able to be everywhere that our potential customer is. Now, if you ever watch the movie Inception, it's all about being able to, have Inception hacking. Well, I believe that we can actually, with omnipresence, hack the mind of our potential customer and be able to put in the kind of flick the psychological triggers that are actually needed that we're going to talk about today. Now, omnipresence is not about just being in front of the person. I really wish people got I had somebody the other day that was very smart that said, Scott, what's brilliant is you just rebrand it retargeting. And I wanted to slap him because if it was just that, it would be so simple. But it's not that. Omnipresence is about being relevant while being omnipresent. It's about not being annoying. Retargeting straight up is annoying if your messaging's not right, your content's not right, and you're not being able to flick the right psychological triggers. Now, when somebody typically is on a webinar, they're trying to push different buttons and everything and so on and so forth. Now, on this webinar, on this training, I'm not trying to push really any psychological buttons, at least not consciously. But people do the NLP thing, the manipulation and so on and so forth, the sale presentation, the sale phone call, the pressure, all these different types of things. I don't believe in that. I believe that if we illuminate somebody, if we illuminate something in someone's life and we give the right psychological triggers that allow them to see where they need to be, people are going to take action because of simply the fact that they know that they need to take action. We take action on things that we actually want to do instead of things that we're just scarcity driven into. And I don't believe that we should scarcity drive anyone into anything. And I love the fact that people say, well, you need to use scarcity or you need to use fear in order to be able to get people off the ledge. And my reply to that is, if somebody wants to live on the ledge, then that is completely up to them. It's not my problem to be able to pull people off of the ledge. So that is omnipresence in a nutshell. So the OmniView stack is essentially the ability to meditate attention, mediate attention towards yourself. So you have a signal, you have content, you have a message, you want to be able to deliver value, and you want to be able to take that person that you brought through the relevancy funnel, that you delivered a first piece of content, and now our job is to be able to essentially go platform specific. So it's to be able to go omni-channel, so omnipresence across multiple channels. Now, at the beginning, this may just be email, Facebook group, and that's it. But then it's going to continue. You want to do YouTube, you want to do Instagram, you want to do partner. You want to make it so that if somebody is on their phone, if somebody is on their screen, you are able to mediate between 3 to 30 seconds of their attention every single moment. Because what's going to be more effective? If you're in someone's mind state for 3 seconds at a time every single day, or a 60-minute webinar that they're not actually engaged in, because 97% of the people that are coming to your webinar are not really, or actually a little bit more than 97, more like 90%, but 90% of the people that are on your webinar are not in the place of being able to actually take action. So would you like people that you're literally going to over and over and over and over and over and over and over every single day, with new messages, with new specific psychological triggers that are being able to ping their pain and their problem, being able to show the methodology, being able to show that you're an authority, you'll be showing that you're a celebrity, showing their personal story, showing the invitation and ask? Or would you like to just have one shot doing it via a webinar? I mean, who are you going to work with? The person that shows up every day or just shows up twice? You're going to show up with the person that is, of course, closer to you, which is why, of course, we want to be able to not just be on one platform, not just email, which is what majority of direct marketing is, but to be able to properly have retargeting and properly be able to do it through multiple different channels, to be able to build these audience in all these different places. See, omnipresence and the ROI method in general, which we're going to get to in the nuclear effect, builds your business, but it builds an audience and it builds your authority and celebrity access. It allows you to be able to get the book deal you want, it allows you to be able to get on stages you want, but at the same time, it allows you to build an audience that allows you to build new businesses. Right now, I'm building multiple different businesses with the same audience. My job at the moment, my business, my mission is to be able to allow for entrepreneurs to be able to solve the problems of the world. So if I can solve their problems, they'll be able to solve all the problems of the world. And that, to me, is the easiest, best purpose that I've been able to find. Now, our next is frequency. Now, think about this for a minute. If you go into and meet someone right away and they're in front of you every single day, just over the top in front of you, you're going to be like, whoa, this is way too much. I didn't sign up for this. So frequency is not about just being in front of each person once a day. You can be in front of people up to 4, 5, 6 times a day. But it has to happen at the right time. It has to be the right frequency. And this is where most people mess up. They look at, oh, I just want to be in front of my audience every single day, once a day. No. That's not how you are able to shape someone's mind. That's not how we can actually utilize inception, plant a moment in someone's mind so they can say, oh my God, this was meant to be, because that is what we're actually reverse engineering. We're reverse engineering the moment of someone saying this is meant to be. which means that the timing of our content actually needs to be right. We cannot introduce the wrong message at the wrong time. If someone just comes right into your world and just has all these testimonials and case studies, I mean, do I care? We have to make you relevant first. We have to make your methodology relevant. You have to make the pain and problem relevant. You have to make the fact that your process and methodology has been used by people. Most people try to get into the solution way too fast. Do you know inside of our omnipresent stuff, there's not a single link that's put in the forefront to book a call in the first 2 months, or sorry, first 2 weeks. We literally want someone to have 30 impressions of me before they ever have anything to do with being able to get on a phone call to be able to do a sale. Because the longer that I wait for them to be able to get on a phone call, the more they know of me, the more their process. And we do the exact same thing with our customers and clients. One person specifically, there's no book a call until after a month. And that person gets on the phone and they have after over a 50% close rate, simply due to the fact that they want to be able to be relevant, omnipresent, intimate way beforehand. So I wanted to give an example of this real quick. So on the right-hand side, so on the left-hand side, which one of these ads would you put to someone at the get-go? Of course, it's going to be the right one, the complete value one. 9 reasons why you aren't getting the traction you want in your business for those who are doing 6 figures, versus this one that's a 5,000 word article that has a 50-minute video. And look at the engagement on the difference of those. The one on the left, of course, is engaged to a very smaller audience. The one on the right, of course, a lot more. 1.2, 1,200 likes, 82 comments, 82 shares. Very, 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 very powerful piece of content. So I wanted to share with you the content stacks. We have content stacks, content blocks. I won't go into the blocks today, but here's just a little taste of what we essentially want to do. Now we have 13 different psychological triggers, and there's actually some more that I've been working on, but I won't talk about that today. But these content stacks essentially work like this. We want to, in the first 14 days, like I said, if we're delivering content to people, that's not about process and method, PR, authority, value, right? We are not relevant to someone. Sorry, just not happen. Not going to happen. All right. So what we do, and there's different ways to do this, and we have essentially 5 stages of omnipresence, but in the first 14 days, I don't want any call to actions. I don't want any testimonials. I want someone to believe that you are relevant to them and that you are over delivering value. Now, here's the beautiful thing about omnipresence. We have realized that in the first 60 days, if you're omnipresent with the right information from the first 14 days, 14 to 21 days, 21 to 60 days, so on and so forth. In the days after 60 days, you can be less in the newsfeed, less in the inbox, so on and so forth. But the attention span someone has for your content is higher. Their top of mindness of you is higher. And now you actually have the ability to spend less money, phenomenally less money on money, while having huge return on investment on the money that you actually spend. So these content stacks, you know, for example, personal story. Somebody doesn't care about your personal story when they just come across you for the general side. They care about themselves. First, they care about themselves. Then they care about a process and methodology that can fix whatever the problem is. Then they need to know their pain and problem again so that they can come it up. Think about this for a minute. If someone's just going around in their ordinary life, how much does the pain and problem that they have come up? Maybe once or twice a week. Well, you know what? I want that person to remember it every single day. I want that person to remember that every single day, that they have a problem or a pain and they need to evolve to the next level. They need to upgrade their reality. They need a new version of their perception in life, because that's what you and me do. We help people upgrade their realities so that they can go to the next level. And I think that's really, really important, but we just can't rely upon them to actually get there always. So that's omnipresence in a nutshell. Okay, that's omnipresence in a nutshell. Now we have an entire omnipresence training and stack and all that type of stuff that you can find. I think it's resources dot the ROI method / omnipresence -marketing / and we actually go into some resources there that you can actually use, some templates and so on and so forth. But this stuff is magic. This stuff is magic. This is the difference of someone coming in, because here's the thing. Omnipresence creates a bubble effect. So the person doesn't actually realize or know that they're in a bubble. They have no idea how big you are, quote unquote big, how much of a celebrity you are. But if you're coming up in front of them 50, 60, 100 times in the first 60 days of knowing you, they're going to know everything about you. Because it's not about getting them to consume every piece of content. It's about being there. It's about being able to mediate small fragments of their attention so we can get into their subconscious mind, so that when their subconscious mind and their conscious mind are connecting to each other, we're able to actually be there. So we essentially inception hacked into someone's mindset. So that is the omnipresence piece. Does that all make sense so far? Can we get a 10 out of 10 or any questions that are there? And of course, we can come back to them afterwards. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in the website I just said, just so you can get it. And here is the other one as well, so you have it. The 5 stages of omnipresence is like literally a 90-minute presentation of itself. It is very, very deep. Most entrepreneurs do not need to get the 5 levels of the omnipresence. Most people only need to get 2. Most people, honestly, that are under 7 figures need 1. To be totally honest with you. It's more along the lines of what we've seen, what we've been able to develop, and I don't think it's actually even necessary to be able to push it out there because no one can use it anyways. It's like you know, putting out content that no one's ever going to be able to use. So I'm not even going to utilize the attention that I have from someone to be able to shine a light on that. So the last piece of this, of course, is intimacy. Now the problem with intimacy is that intimacy is difficult to scale, right? And so I think in many ways we can scale the feeling of intimacy overall. So there's 3 C's of intimacy, and the first one is conversation. Now, I guarantee you if there's not someone in your business and their job is to reply to your Facebook messages, your inbox, your email messages, your Facebook comments, your Instagram comments, and everything else, that is by far one of the biggest investments that you can ever make. By far. We get more people to sign up for phone calls inside of Facebook groups, inside of email, inside of comments on ads, inside of Instagram, inside of the messenger box than anything else we do. Far more of the people that come and work with us are messaging back and forth with us and not actually submitting an application. Because guess what? People want conversation. People want the feeling of intimacy. And it's what most people try to eliminate. Well, I don't want any more emails. Well, I don't want this. I want everything to be automated. Guys, we are in an automated world. We're in a world that in the next 10 years, millions, tens of millions of jobs are going to be, killed because of artificial intelligence. And those who utilize intimacy will be above. Because those who invest in intimacy will have people that actually want to be intimate with them. And intimacy leads to somebody saying, well, you know what? You've helped me. How can you help me more? Now, I talked about relevancy beforehand and the fact that relevancy is about being your authentic self. I think one of the reasons why I do so well is because I am my authentic self. I am who I am. If you stand right here, I am the same person. I'm a little bit less hyped up, perhaps. I'm pretty excited about this right now. But overall, connection comes from somebody being able to relate to your authentic self. And through that relationship of authentic relating, we're able to connect to someone. We're able to connect to their values, their personal beliefs. It's a reason why some people connect with me and some people don't. Some people find me polarizing. If you don't like swearing, I might be polarizing. If you don't like certain beliefs that I have, I might be polarizing. Just like you may be polarizing in your own right. My wife is actually polarizing because she's so joyful. She's so happy. It's actually sometimes a lot for people. And because of that, it kind of drives people away. Now, this is a very powerful thing because the thing is that if someone does not have a personal connection with you, they do not have the ability to have intimacy. If they do not have the ability to have intimacy, the ability for that person to be able to further a relationship from interest to understanding to solution to understanding how you can help them is very difficult because someone needs to be able to make a logical decision, a soulful decision, a heartfelt decision, and then a logical decision. And that's when you get someone that says, heck yes, versus somebody that buys and then has some level of buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse happens when the person is not fully seeing the solution as being relevant and not feeling connected to you and not feeling like you are the best solution on planet Earth. And that's what we, of course, want to do. So that's connection. And the last one is community. Everybody wants to be part of the community. Everyone wants to say that, hey, this is my flag and I want to put it in. For me, my community, everything that I've built everything around is the fact that I work with people that are 6 and 7 figures. So you have to be 6 or 7 figures in order to really be in my world, right? Because at the end of the day, that's who I'm relevant to. My information, my content's not relevant to you if you're making $500 a month. I don't even know what it is to feel like to make less than $10,000 a month. I've been making $10,000 a month since the time I was 12, 13 years old. So for me to give you advice about what to do before $10,000 a month, even when I was broke, I was making $10,000 a month because the debt payment was not $10,000 a month, but nearly that. So based upon this, from a community aspect, my community is based upon being able to help people have transformation, not sell information. I don't work with people that sell predominantly information, because I believe in the fact that if the universe is always expanding, then we are going to tighten the ability for the universe to expand, because knowledge allows for the mind to expand. The mind expanding allows for ideas to expand. Ideas expanding allow for great inventions, creations, and so on and so forth. I also believe in the short game, the long game versus the short game. So if I see somebody that's investing just to try to make a quick buck, if somebody's just trying to do something to be able to create a nice house or be able to get a nice car, I'm not really interested in working with them. I'm not really interested in supporting them. I'm interested in being able to see what's going to happen in the next 20 years, because you know what? Our worlds are a real interesting place right now. And I believe the entrepreneurs are the only people that actually can technically do anything about it. Because we have the ability to create. We have the ability to create any amount of wealth that we want, and then be able to direct that wealth, that energy, to any way we want. And further than that, I believe in illumination over manipulation, because I don't believe that manipulating people makes sense. The difference between persuasion and manipulation is intent. And my belief is that if our intent is the right way, it allows us to illuminate the problem somebody has, the pain that somebody has, and to drive them towards radical action so that they can solve the problem, they can upgrade their reality. So that is intimacy in a nutshell. Now, this comes in many different ways, because it can be a Facebook group, it can be through email, it can be through just literally being your authentic self and saying, you know what, this is what I believe in. I think the most powerful day I ever had was when I told people I was in debt. I think one of the more powerful moments is being able to tell people just exactly how it is, because your subconscious knows if something's off. Your subconscious knows if something does not feel right. And there's only two ways that things are off. Either number one, it doesn't align with your values and your belief, and you're in a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, or it's completely off, and it's actually off. So what actually happens when we combine relevancy, omnipresence, intimacy, right? What actually happens in kind of this circle diagram? First off, you're able to get the perfect customer. That means you can actually get results. And I should say, the ability to truly get the right results. Because essentially what we're trying to get here is being able to have the perfect client with the perfect price, with the perfect connection. So what does that mean? If you have the perfect client, you can get the perfect results. And that person's actually going to be able to go from here to there. A lot of people, we have to sacrifice who we work with because we just need to be able to pay our bills. Secondarily, if we have more leads and we have more people that want to work with us and we have the capacity to work with, we're going to be able to charge more money. And third, if you do not feel connected to the people that you work with, you will find yourself uninterested, if that's a word, with being able to help them. That's what happened to me. Today, I feel very connected to what I do. I charge far more than anybody in my marketplace, and I have far more people that want to work with me than we have the capacity to. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a wonderful thing. So what happens when all these pieces come together? Well, what happens is what I call it the nuclear effect. And when all these three pieces come together, when you have the perfect client, perfect price, perfect connection, when you're relevant in your marketplace, when you're omnipresent to those people, you're the big fish in the small pond, and you're able to create scalable intimacy, you have the nuclear effect, which essentially is a chain reaction, which is just a self-sustaining chain of a snowball effect going downhill. So now you have people talking about you. You're always coming on with people's newsfeed. People are always commenting. They're referring you to people. You're essentially generating more revenue because you're having more leads come in. You're creating more high-level relationships. It's much easier to get in PR. It's much easier to be able to have partners. It's much easier to do joint ventures. It's much easier to have other partnerships. The amount of people that come towards me on a daily basis, the amount of influencers that I now work with that have millions of people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, that the amount of influence that I've been able to create because of this is phenomenal. And the people that utilize this is also phenomenal. So you're creating in real time money, fame, and influence. Now, this is not for the ego. This is for whatever it is you actually want to do. And my belief is that if you create money, fame, and influence, you can literally do anything because you have money to be able to drive something, so it has oxygen. You have fame so that you can actually have an audience of people that you can impact. And then you have other people that can help you impact those people. And most times, people only have one currency, one of the three. They either have great relationships, they have a great audience, or they have money. Not three. And that's a nuclear effect, being able to create all three in succession, in real time, consistently every single day, even if you're not necessarily working on it, which means you don't have to rely just on referrals. You don't have to rely on the networking. You don't have to speak on stages. This is a self-sustaining nuclear reaction chain. And that's what I love. So how does this look in your business? I mean, for Jess, it looked at the fact that she started a brand new business. She sold a business. She was out of it. She came to us and she had the financial capital. She had one of the three currencies, but she wanted to create an audience. She wanted to create a self-sustaining business. She will start working with us in April, and she now has a 6-figure business. Let me put that to a 6-figure monthly business, not $10,000 a month, $100,000 per month. She collected in the month of June. She's making more than that in July, and I expect that she'll be doing $200,000 a month before September. People like Mikkel, who's behind Funnelytics. By the way, for Jess, you can just look up the listings lab, because of course, anyone that's a fact finder on this is going to start looking for facts. Mikkel, behind Funnelytics, have been able to grow it to a 7-figure business since starting to work with us and working with our methodologies. Sunny D, which has a massive YouTube. I think she has like 200,000 subscribers now. I started working with her with the ROI method stuff when she was at $20,000 a month. She 4x'd her business in the first year and 2x'ing her business this year, more than 2x'ing, 2.5x'ing, and also buying back her time. People like David Newman, double, tripling, quadrupling their business. People like my good friend Trevor, that has been able to completely go away from information and now sells a high ticket program at $8,000 and is consistently being able to fill it. People like Rachel and Ross that literally had a job last year and now they're making $100,000 a month. People like Jennifer who are able to now get away from just doing launches and being able to utilize the ROI method in a day-to-day basis. People like Taylor who helps people land TEDx talks, who beforehand relied on referrals or cold leads and now is being able to build a very, very sophisticated audience with amazing people. People like Jesse Elder, which is actually one of my best friends as well. A lot of my customers, clients are my best friends and really good friends simply because of the fact that we work with them in such an intimate way. Not because I do one-on-ones with these people, but necessarily because of the fact that the involvement that we have, that the change that this makes is significant. So if you're here, if we want to put up the work with us page, Amanda or Christiana, really there's a couple of different ways that we work with people. Number one, we work with people that are above $50,000 a month and want to scale, and that's with Project Nuclear. And that's for people that have a multi-million-dollar business or $1 million business and they want to scale, or we think that they can be at $1 million run rate within 90 days, as well as working with people that want to be able to transition their business model to high ticket and then be able to utilize the methodology to be able to go out there. And that's really the ways that we work with people. Of course, we put a link there so you can go ahead and apply to work with us if you want that. Now, this is a very powerful methodology. It works very quickly. It works even quicker if you already have an audience of people that you can deploy relevancy and omnipresence and intimacy to, because we can make you re-relevant to an entire audience. And from there, we can then ensure that you're in the newsfeed, in the screen of every single person with omnipresence. And then utilizing the tactics behind intimacy, we're able to actually increase the ability for someone to have communication with you and your brand and be able to drive them towards being able to have a phone call, a sale, being able to actually help them on a day-to-day basis. So that is the ROI method. That is the nuclear effect. That is what's built our business so incredibly quickly. That is what's building all of the people that we're working with right now. Like I said, we have 51 entrepreneurs in Project Nuclear, which is our multi-7-figure scaling program. It's a 12-month program where we literally help every single piece of the business, as well as the relevancy engine, which helps entrepreneurs who have momentum, who have a high ticket offer or want to transition to a high ticket offer and want to be able to scale that up quickly and effectively, all while utilizing the paradigm of being relevant to the perfect person, being able to use omnipresence to hack the attention of your perfect customer, and allowing intimacy to make it so that you don't have to use sales that uses manipulation, but rather allows for this to happen in succession. So Project Nuclear is all about all pieces of the business, and the relevancy engine is a 90-day program where we actually work with you one-on-one. This is not a group program. All of these, both of these are a one-on-one experience where we work with you with relevancy engine one-on-one every single week to help you launch your high ticket offer and be able to scale it, or to be able to scale your current high ticket offer utilizing the ROI method. And with Project Nuclear, we're helping you scale a multi-million-dollar business over the span of 12 months. So that is what I've got to offer you. I'm not going to go too far into the details. At the end of the day, we have amazing social proof. We have amazing testimonials. We have amazing entrepreneurs that are utilizing this methodology. This methodology is by far the best when it comes to marketing that I've ever seen in the time that I've seen any methodologies on the internet. It's flexible, but more than anything else, it's much easier to implement than all of this technology that's out there. Further, it allows you to be able to find the best people that are going to resonate with you. It's going to allow you to build a business that actually works for the world, works for you, works for your team. I think that's the coolest thing, that this goes beyond just putting yourself and pigeonholing yourself into a business model that doesn't necessarily work. I know for me, my lifestyle, for what I do, I've been able to create a scenario where I work less than 30 hours a week, been able to create a scenario where I have a very profitable multi-six-figure profit every single month. And this allowed me to be in a place and, just an area of being able to bring amazing, amazing relationships to me. Just so much impact with people that I just care about so much. And it's allowed me to really, truly go beyond just making money. And it's allowing me to see the fact that we have a mission as a company. And our mission is to be able to solve all the problems of the entrepreneur so that we can solve the problems of the world. Because I know inherently the world has some significant problems. And I don't know about you, but I do not trust the political system. I do not trust corporations. I trust us. I trust that we have the ability to create financial wealth. But that can only happen once you go past 7 figures. Abundance is very difficult. There's abundance mindset, but there's abundance of the bank account. You can have an abundant mindset knowing that you're going to be fine, and I think that's great. But life really truly happens. Life really truly starts. I know it has for me and people that I advise and mentor, when you can wake up and there's no longer a gun to your head, when there's no longer stress of being able to pay the day-to-day bills. Now, stress and anxiety may never go away. But what I do know is that when you wake up and you actually do what you want every single day, by God, it actually makes it really worth it. And then last year, I found myself in a very somewhat of a depressive state. I used to eat Ben & Jerry's almost every single night and smoke weed almost every single night because of the fact that I had this great business that was making money, but I didn't feel connected to it. It had no purpose. It had no reasoning. And the cool part about this is it's not my job necessarily to be able to make it so that you're happy or you're content or you're fulfilled. But I do think I have a unique ability in my team, now 29, 30 people, to be able to mentor you to a point and be able to have abundance so you can figure out what it is you really want to do here on earth. Because you may or may not know, you may have the big vision. And I think that we get stuck in the day-to-day, but if we were able to pull ourselves into the day-to-day, we would be able to go on the search. We would be able to be on to something. And when we're on to something great, magic happens. It's as if the world conspires for you instead of against you. Because when things are in perfect alignment, it allows for everything to work together perfectly. And I know for me that has been massive. Because when I look back at it 3.5 years ago, I was almost $1 million in debt. I'm not anymore. 3.5 years ago, I was in a very numb state. And I think my love for entrepreneurship comes from the fact that I've been doing this for a long time, since I was 7 years old on an acreage. And that puts me in a very unique position because a lot of people become entrepreneurs because they're driven out of jobs or they want a new life. A lot of people are entrepreneurs because they don't have a choice or they want a new level of freedom. Yet we give up freedom for a prison, but it doesn't have to be that way. There's always been two ways to be able to gain massive momentum. Either be mentored and guided up the mountain or just fail forward. I fell forward a lot. It amazes me most days that anything I do is actually successful, but it's the fact that I'm not afraid to fail continually and every day. So if you're here today and you want that mentorship up the mountain, then I would love to be able to help you do that. So I'm going to go to some questions. I got a few extra minutes here, but I would also love to know how this has been for you, if this was enjoyable for you. I see the fact that most people, only about 20% of you left, which is amazing. I love that. And yeah, I would love to know if there's any questions. I'm not going to go super technical, but I will, entertain any questions about the overall high level. Gemma asks, Scott talked about ad spend necessary for ROI method. I'd love to know for six-figure businesses earning 20 to 30K per month should be investing ads each month for this method. At the end of the day, I think that if you can't invest $1,000 or $2,000 a month in advertising, you probably shouldn't advertise. So I think that's really kind of the bare minimum. Omnipresence doesn't cost a lot of money, like at all. If you have a big audience, it costs a lot of money. But if you have a small audience, it does not cost a lot of money whatsoever. Like I said, I shared earlier, we spent $250,000 on Facebook so far this year. I mean, we drove a lot of revenue from that. And overall, I mean, we have a pretty big audience. We have an audience of, 200,000 plus people. So you can do the math on that and realize it doesn't cost that much money to be in front of that. Can you Project Nuclear virtually, or do you need to be based in the USA? We have people all over the world in Project Nuclear. It's all virtual. There are some in-person meetups. You do get access to 2 masterminds in person. We're actually doing one in a couple of weeks here. Just I rented my neighbor's mansion that's right next, literally like up the house there, the one right next to it. Learned a lot. Thanks for sharing. Do you still use the 4 quadrant from Mikhail Benjamin? I do indeed. I love the 4 quadrants. Currently below $10,000 a month. What should I be doing to get to the point to work with you? Am I able to use any of the ROI method currently? Chris, I would use the relevancy side and then just go hustle. Well, that's low, said Jim. I was expecting more. Ad spend wise, you really don't need to be worrying. Like, it's a lot less than people, really say it is or think it is or whatever it may be. Scott, I really just adore who you are. Thank you for being you and holding the mirror for entrepreneurs like myself. I look forward to being able to be in that range to work with you and your team. Thank you so much. Learned a lot. Thanks for sharing. I love it. Thank you, Scott. Been following you for 2 years. What's up, brother? Are there any resources for if anyone's doing less than $20,000 a month? So you don't necessarily have to be doing less than $20,000 a month, or sorry, more than $20,000 a month in the business for the relevancy engine. It's more along the lines of being able to ensure that you do have revenue and that you are profitable and you want to be able to have significant change. So there's definitely room for people. We have plenty of people that do come in that are under $20,000 a month, as long as you have a healthy profit margin. Best presentation yet. Thank you, Austin. Incredible training. Thank you, Scott. You're an incredible teacher with so much heart. Thank you so much. Loved it, mate. Appreciate you sharing the gold. Why stop the sidewalks flowing fascinating lead generation completely? I won't say I completely stop it by any stretch of imagination. I just got bored of it, brother, to be honest, Benjamin. I just got bored of it. Still very, very effective methodology, just wasn't resonating with it. And I kind of like innovating. I like innovating so fast that people can't copy me, and people were starting to copy the sidewalk slowing fast lane. So I said, screw it. If you replace the lead magnet with a mini site, how do you get people's email addresses? You can put an email address in front of the mini site, and it does typically have the same type of conversion rate as an actual lead magnet. We actually found that collecting email addresses increased the cost of being able to get somebody in, because the cost per lead, this will actually contradict what I said, but if you're doing Facebook advertising, you can get someone to view the website for 50 cents to $1 sometimes, whereas an actual lead will cost $5 to $10. Depends what market you're in at the end of the day. How How's this different than the traffic and funnels, Chris and Evan Taylor? Well, it's both sound awesome. I have no idea what Chris and Taylor are doing, to be completely honest with you, Michael. No idea whatsoever. I do know that they're doing well from a financial position. I do know that I've had people that have come over from there. I do know that there's us and 3 or 4 other people necessarily in this marketplace, and I do know that we get significant results. And I don't know their business model. I honestly, things are going so fast. I don't have the fucking time to worry about what else somebody else is doing, man. Like I really don't care. My thing in my entire life has been I compete with who's in the mirror, not with who's out there. And if I got too concerned about all the flashy, the cars and the airplanes and everything else, I may not be the person I am. But anyways, that's my take on that. My thing overall is there's enough business for all of us, and I think that they resonate to a different audience than I necessarily resonate with. What to do instead of showing features of yourself if you don't have anything to showcase? Just write about yourself and write about your story. Amazing training, Scott. Thank you being so generous. You and Libby are my biggest business life inspirations. Thank you, Hannah. When you talk about the first 14 days of Omnipresence, you mean after they visit the mini site? That is correct. The audience and that mainly engages with me for whatever reason are mostly men. Would it be a bad idea to focus my message relevant to them only? I think if it's mostly men, dive into it, go for it, and make it so that that's your avatar. Don't you have any lead captures on the mini sites? We go against back and forth, but overall majority of our ad spend is towards not capturing leads at the moment. Could the content for the first 14 days be more overall and business related? I mean, our app save time for business traveler, but I write how to save time in particular. I think that is still okay, Benjamin. Seth says, Chris and Taylor are doing very different stuff. I have no idea. I see their Facebook ads. I don't resonate with what they're doing personally, but again, they could probably say the same thing about me. But I appreciate that, Seth. Excellent response, Kevin. Can we get a recording? I hope this is a recording. If it's not, sorry. The copycat approach is death. That's marketing 101. You do you, brother. Thank you, Adam. Will there be a replay? I think so. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm gonna go from here. I actually have a meeting. I've been doing some deep therapy work for the last 6 or 7 months, and for a while now, about 10 hours a week. So I'm gonna go and put myself into an intense 2-hour therapy session. I've been doing about 10 hours a week for the past 6 or 7 months, just to really understand who I am, and that's allowed me to understand so much about why I do the things in business, why I've always done the things that I haven't done. Highly recommended. I'm actually creating a mindset therapy kind of program, high-end program for entrepreneurs in the next 6 months with the person that I've been working with. So I actually had to go for that in 7 minutes. So I want to calm down, have a moment of meditation, and be able to go into that. But listen, I would love to be able to see your application, see if you're a good fit. My team will be able to get on a 15-minute phone call, see if it's a good fit, and then we'll be able to go from there. Is it a bad business decision to launch Omnipresence in a completely new business, obviously below 10 camera? If you already have an audience, if you have a small audience, launch Omnipresence. If you don't have an audience already, it's not going to make any sense, because the idea is Omnipresence to the people who you're relevant to, not Omnipresence in general. All right, guys, see you later. Talk soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.